Speaker, a month ago, my reasons for not supporting a second lockdown were that the measures represented a gross overreach of government powers over our basic freedoms, that the tiers provided a more targeted response that needed more time, and that the information provided by government was inadequate and unpersuasive. And I made the following requests of the government: to operationalise rapid testing on a community and venue basis, to put COVID into context with other illnesses so they didn't disappeared in terms of their importance, and to make available to members of Parliament a full assessment of policy consequences before we are asked to make decisions. In the intervening period, the government has indeed progressed on many of these fronts. Thankfully, freedom of communal worship has been restored. Freedom to trade has been substantially restored. More needs to be done on freedom to associate. Rapid testing is being deployed, but more needs to be done, particularly to restore confidence in events, in the travel industry and in theatres. The government has been kind enough at last to give us the criteria and the data on the decisions about restrictions, and we have had a stab at an impact assessment. I have to say to the Minister that the impact assessment has all the hallmarks of an essay crisis, with all possible factors raised, but few of them investigated with any rigour. This is important because for too long the decisions of government have been in thrall to the medical profession alone, and the trade-offs of the medical profession are always likely to be more precautionary than the broader considerations of members of Parliament. But we can work with this to help us inform our future decisions. A month ago, I wrote to constituents to say I'm sure we are all irritated that restrictive measures are being proposed, but irritation is not a sufficient basis for a Member of Parliament to oppose them. We are all irritated that perhaps some of us have been placed in higher tiers than we should have done. We are irritated that the geographies are broader than we think they should be. We are irritated that the government has, in a sense, put us in a place where we're looking backwards rather than forward. But irritation is not a sufficiency for an alternative policy. We will be able to make tweaks, we'll be able to make suggestions, but I return to my conclusion of a month ago that the continuation of the tiered approach is the right policy. We must, however, ask the government to challenge clause 311 in its impact assessment, where it talks about the NHS being overwhelmed in terms of the loss of life, that such a scenario is considered intolerable. The best way to do that, Madam Speaker, is through scenarios of hospital occupancy through March being made available.